think I've talked about this before, but when I hand a book in, that's when all the good stuff happens. It's like when you have a comeback in real life and you can't think of it, and it happens much later and you go, oh, I wish I said that. But it happens with writing books as well. So I hand it in and I go, oh, I wish I put this in and that in. It all happens in a flurry because all of a sudden you're relaxed, the pressure's off. And so I've been lucky to self-publish because I could always unpublish my book, put in the new stuff and then republish it again. With a publisher, it's a one-off. It's done, it's sealed, unless you get a 10th anniversary edition, which is highly unlikely unless it sells so much. And so handing in a third book with Andrews McMeel, I decided I'd try and hand it in really early to trick my brain. If I hand it into my editor really early, it's like a decoy. And all of a sudden my brain thinks, oh, the pressure's off. And it worked. I came up with some of my favorite stuff right after I'd handed it in. And even weeks after I'd handed it in. I handed it in, like I got it back. I put the new stuff in. I went, that's it. And luckily I get another go at it. And of course, after I handed it in a second time from the first edit, new stuff came, thinking, that's it, done, signed and sealed, it's all finished. And then more new stuff happened. And so it's always, it's so weird how I feel like the first manuscript that I handed in, that was like the jigsaw without corner pieces. And then the corner pieces all arrived after I'd finished it, which was amazing. Yeah, it's not how you do a jigsaw puzzle. You find the corner pieces first, then you build into it. But yeah, writing's kind of the opposite. For me, it is anyway, where I'm just making some random image, and then the bits that hold it up arrive close to the end when I know what it is, and it starts to solve itself, and the pieces just arrive, and that's it's a relief. So that's one trick I know, which is to basically pretend it's finished, or at least to go through the actions that tells your brain that the book is finished by either publishing it, if you're self-publishing, and you can always unpublish it and republish it again, or doing an early deadline for the first round of edits and tell your editor, this is it, that's done, and then all the rest of it comes. Another trick I've learned recently is, because this is how I write books that at least 30% of it has to work on social media, because that's how I'm selling it, and the rest of it doesn't. It's just editorial. I don't care if it works on social media or not, as long as I love it. That's what matters. But 20 to 30% of it has to work on social media. So I'm often testing stuff on social media because I'm not a true poet. I'm more of a comedian, how they'll test stuff on smaller stages before they create a whole special out of what works. And so those pieces that I test, I used to do it pretty regularly, write a few pieces and test them the same day or the next day. And that was doing my head in, because often they'd bomb. Like most pieces that I post will bomb. And that's like every day. It felt like masochism, like bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, hits, something works. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, something works. But there's so much losing involved in that day to day, which I've done for years, that only recently I decided I'm going to save all the testing up to do on one day every 2 to 3 weeks, so I can just bomb and win in one day. And that makes it so much. That's only recent, and I feel so less stressed because of it. I didn't realize how much the algorithm notoriously taps into the gambling part of your brain, like a one-armed bandit jackpot machine. And I was roller coastering, like going, oh my god, this one did well, oh, this one bombed again, and I walk around in a bad mood for the rest of the day. So I'm just saving them up for every 2 or 3 weeks, and that's brought some small sanity back. Another thing, I write every morning. Like I'm not waiting for lightning to strike, and often I'll write something that I think is shit, but it's actually good. I just don't know it yet. And I find out maybe the next day or the day after when my brain's fresh and can read it again. It's like there's two parts of me writing. There's an audience who reads back the words that I've just written, and another part of me that just writes them and just makes shit up. Like there was one piece I wrote, life plan, become a tree, watch birds. No, life plan, get old, become a tree, watch birds. And I thought that was crap. I thought it was like, that's stupid. And for some reason, I saw it two or 3 days later and went, oh, it's kind of fun. I'll post it. And it weirdly has gone viral each time. I don't even like it. But I wrote it. But so that's going into the book, because I want to keep at least 30% of stuff in my book that actually works on social media, so I can sell the book. So yeah, that's a little trick, is to don't get rid of your crap stuff, what you think is crap, straight away, because maybe your inner audience just isn't in a bad mood that day, but your inner writer actually knew what was going on. It just took a while. Sometimes when I'm stuck in the morning is when I'm writing. I'll write for 3 hours. I'll force myself to only use 10 words or less for an idea, and that's hard. But all of a sudden if I can break through the little barrier that tells me it's hard, all of a sudden there's a relief. And often if I just chuck a noun in there somewhere, something concrete, something interesting comes out. Not all the time, but that's really handy to break out of my stupid head when I'm just waffling on or going around in circles. Sometimes a true thing is succinctly said, and yeah, that works. Another thing is writing from the feeling of things. I don't often do it, but when I do, nearly every time, I love it. It's when I write from the true source of the feeling of something, not some memory of the feeling, or the memory of the feeling's all right, but it can kind of kill you a bit unless it was a good experience. But tapping directly into the feeling, and I'm often not in the mood to write from a feeling. I'm writing purely like I'm solving a crossword puzzle, and sometimes those bits are beautiful and clever, and they're all right. But really, I'm just solving a crossword puzzle in my head. But yeah, when I write from a true feeling, even if on a craft level it's not well written, the audience can smell that there's something beneath those words, that it was written from someplace true. There's a couple of pieces in the new book that on first glance I've read over them again, but I wrote from a true feeling, and I've read them again and I thought it's not really well written, but I thought they're going in because they came from a real place, and when I posted them they've resonated as well, which is just lucky. I always put stuff into a book where I've written from a true place. It just goes in anyway. I don't give a shit if it performed or whatever on social media. It just goes in. But yeah, luckily it'll help sell the book because those pieces sort of did well on social media as well. One thing I've noticed as I get older is cliches. Like, I've always tried to avoid cliches, but I'm more sensitive to cliches that I didn't think were cliches at the time, and now I just don't use them. I can't give a good example, and I still use them. I still do it so unconsciously, but getting older, I'm more sensitive to how language is used, and so so frivolously. Like I always feel like language can be such a jail. Yeah, new words, a whole new dictionary, like new words in a dictionary each year until you get old enough, and the dictionary is really just a whole new language to another country. I feel like I live in another country sometimes, and that's that I find that interesting. Getting older, just the words that you see turn up, and just noticing them in poems and how people talk. They may as well be talking in numbers, including me. I've said probably about 100 million cliches already in this video without even knowing. But yeah, when I can catch them, the more subtle ones, I'll not use them, or modern terminology, I'll try and steer clear of it where I can. But yeah, can't talk in a completely different language, but yeah, as much as I can. Yeah, reading books, which is a cliche, is another good one, which is, I started with my favourite authors, then I looked for their inspirations, and I read their inspirations, and I looked for their inspirations, and I kept reading through the family tree of inspiration, and it all goes back thousands of years. It's like it's all been done, it's all been said before. It all comes out just the same stuff just comes out in a different spirit, in a different time, and the most old basic stuff has a through line from thousands of years to now, and it's all been said. And I love discovering my influences, and how it all just links together. And sometimes I think, oh, what's the point in even writing? It's all been done. So no, I'm not adding anything really new except for my spirit, or whatever's there to bring to it. Yeah, I find that fascinating, and sometimes it's a bit disillusioning when you go, so my favourite writer kind of paraphrased his favourite writer, and that writer borrowed it from Eastern philosophy, and you keep digging in it, you start to feel kind of a sense of meaninglessness, and then you go, who cares? Just do it anyway.